It's going to be great. So awesome. Alrighty. So welcome to everybody who is watching the recording and everyone who is here, obviously, as well. So good to have you on board. I have done this masterclass because I'm in a few sort of Facebook groups, and a lot of the women in there are freaking frazzled. Like they are frazzled. And from someone who has been a former frazzler, someone who was constantly feeling in a state of unease, could never relax, had no inner peace whatsoever, I really feel for them. So I just wanted the opportunity to be able to put it out there to be able to help women know that there's a better way. Like you don't have to go through the experience of your life being frazzled, being stressed, because that's not what we're here for, right? We didn't sign up for this life experience to be frazzled. So that's what we're talking about today. And I'm not talking about like the green smoothies and yoga kind of solutions for frazzling, because that's actually not the freaking problem. The problem goes a lot deeper than that. And I am not someone who would like to deal with surface level shit. I actually want to get to the root cause of why we are frazzled. Oh, sorry, Steph, I'm using, so there's littlies. Steph's getting the kids out of the bath. So, I need to keep it G rated. Okay. So, just before we all jump on, just going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Actually, before we start, pop in the chat, just so we're all operating the chat box, where you are from, because I think we might actually have like quite a few corners of the world covered in this masterclass, which will be great. I'm just checking to see if there is. What do you mean use passcode? Oh, hang on. Just checking to make sure that everyone is on. Okay, cool. It's my mother-in-law. She's not trying to join the group. Excellent. So Lisa is in Mildura, Fiona is in Hobart, Steph is in Mooloolaba in Melbourne, and Nikki is in Mount Barker. So we've got Adelaide covered, we've got Mildura covered, we've got Tasmania covered, we've got Melbourne covered. We've got the bottom sort of part of Australia covered, which is very, very cool. Excellent. So just before we begin, I'm hoping that everyone has got their drinks available. I would say water, but I know my audience. It won't be water.
You'll be surprised. Mine is for once.
Shut the front door, is it?
Mm-hmm. That's how you know I'm sick.
Oh, yeah, because you're unwell, of course. Yes. So, yeah. So, no, what is it normally? Is it Jack Daniels or?
Jim Beam, pretty much any alcohol.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Classic alcoholic.
yeah. What? No, your body's got enough to deal with at the moment, doesn't it? Doesn't need like it doesn't need Jim Beam to process as well. So yeah, so water, drinks, pen, paper to take down any nuggets. You're going to get a replay of this as well anyway, so don't be too crazy mad trying to scribble it all down. And I'm happy to share the slides with anyone who wants them as well. I'll pop them in a Google Doc and send it off to you if that is of interest to you as well. So what I'd love for you to bring, because I'm going to be talking about some concepts that, you know, as I say, it's not going to be the chamomile tea and the go for a walk kind of solutions for this masterclass. So I really want you guys to bring in a willingness to explore your belief systems around what makes you frazzled. I would really like you to bring curiosity to whatever comes up for you during this masterclass. Everything is absolutely allowed. And I would also love for you to pop any questions into the chat box, or seeing as it's a more intimate group, pop yourself off mute as well and just jump in and ask questions as well. Very happy to be answering things as we go as well, because if you have got a question, chances are others will have the same question, and there is no such thing as a stupid question. So I am more than happy to answer all of the questions along the way as well. What else? Video. I love, love, love having videos on. I understand if there's bare bottoms getting babies out of baths and things, you won't want your camera on. But if and when you can get your cameras on, I would love it, because it just helps me to make sure that I don't leave anyone behind. Helps me to calibrate the room and make sure that I'm not, everyone's getting it and everyone's engaged. Okay. So I'd love to have cameras on if you are able to. That would be fantastic. So without further ado, let us get on with this Frazzled Masterclass because it is going to be gangbusters. So I'm just going to share my screen with you all now. And let's get into this awesome content, which is very exciting. Right. Frazzled, give us the old frazzle dazzle. Who loves Chicago? I love that show. So yes, frazzled, 4 steps to less frazzle, more dazzle. So I love giving a step system because then it's going to be easy to remember. So when you do start to get frazzled, go, right, what are those 4 steps again? What did Kerry teach us? So that's what I love, a step system. Love a step system. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kerry. I have been a human design person. What do you call it? Not educator, human design specialist, I guess, for the last 3 odd years. And I added life coaching onto that as well because I was finding that women were discovering their human design, but then still letting all of the bullshit that gets in the way of them being the full potential of their human design get in the way. So then I decided to become a coach with that as well to help you move through all of that as well. So I've been a human design mindset life coach for the last 3 years. I'm also a registered nurse, as Steph knows. She has basked in the abundance of my expertise in nursing in the oncology and palliative care field. Also a wife and mother of 2, so I've been married for 21 years and I've got a 17-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, and I am definitely a recovered frazzler. So much of my 2010s, shall we say, when I was having children or had kids, getting into the swing of being a mother, etc., I was someone who was continuously frazzled. Like my daily was frazzled, and I would find myself needing coffee to wake myself up in the morning, and then I'd need Scotch and Coke, or caffeine-free Diet Coke, because you don't need the caffeine at nighttime, right? Caffeine-free Diet Coke and Scotch to wind down at night. And I really felt myself getting into a lot of dependency around that. And it was something that I recognized because I was so stressed and I didn't know any other way. But as I have gone through my own journey of becoming a life coach and doing the work myself, and now I can see in retrospect what was going on with myself. Now I'm in a really, really good position where I have stepped out of it. I've done the work and I've got the tools to be able to look back and go, oh, that's what I was doing. Oh, okay, that's why I was doing that. And so now I'm in a really, really good position to be able to teach it because I have been there. Like it was a good decade of my life being continuously frazzled. So why am I doing the Frazzled Masterclass? So, did I hit the record button? Hang on, let me just check, make sure that I have. Oh, no, yep, no, I've hit the record button. Yep, go me. Look at that. As you were, everyone, stand down. Right. So why am I doing this Frazzled Masterclass? So many women are frazzled. I'm in a few sort of off-spin community Facebook groups, and there are so many women in there going, why am I the one always doing all of the work? Why am I so stressed? Why is it? And I can just bring it all back to being frazzled. They're all frazzled. They're all stressed. So women are constantly chasing their tails, and they're a lot of the times, well, I knew that in my case especially, I was busy doing a lot of shit that actually didn't matter. Like in the grand scheme of things, did not matter. And we're obsessing about these things that are not going to make a difference in, or not what we came here to do. Okay. And I also believe as well that society as a whole has not looked after our women. Like we have had decades of very unrealistic expectations put on us. And especially for women, that has just kept on increasing. So the goalposts for men haven't really changed that much. They're like breadwinner provider. But for women, the goalposts have changed exponentially. So not only are we expected to be the mothers, the caretakers, the housekeepers, but also breadwinners as well to supplement the income. and we're expected to hold all of it, and don't you dare frickin' drop it, because that's not allowed. So there's a lot of expectation put on women, and it has been very much an unfair fight. And I think it's time for us to actually really get back to brass tacks of what is important and what is it that we want for our lives, because the experience that is our life is getting completely stuffed up, because we're losing sight of what it is that our purpose and what it is that we're here to do. So how do I know all of this? Because this was me. This is an old night duty photo. So I remember the experience of being frazzled all too well. So the main core things that I remember was a constant undercurrent of resentment and anger. Anger that I was made to feel resentful, anger that I was the one doing everything. So I had this constant undercurrent of resentment and rage going on. I was constantly in an effort to be seen and heard. I was always I didn't know how to ask for what I needed, so I was always being sarcastic. I was always being passive aggressive, especially towards my partner, because we always hurt the ones that are going to, take us back again. So I was always sarcastic, always passive aggressive, and I was always the martyr. So I would complain about my situation. People would say, "Oh, I'll take the kids. I'll look up, do some self-care." No, no, no. I'm the only one that can do it. And so I was my own worst enemy as well, because I had that need to be needed as well. So there was no winning for anyone in the house. I wasn't winning, and nobody else was winning either. The constant feeling of unsettled tension in the house. Like, I had my husband treading on eggshells, I had my kids treading on eggshells, and I was looking to be offended a lot of the time because I was so unhealed. And I always felt anxious. I never felt relaxed. I felt guilty when I sat down for a break. I felt guilty if there was something that was left undone. And so there was no inner peace for me. I just never felt that sense of inner peace. And I just thought it was because I was a mum, I had young kids, I've got a boy with special needs, I'm a night duty nurse, and absolutely that does contribute to it, lack of sleep, etc. It does contribute. But there is actually always, the problem is never the problem, and it goes a lot deeper than just the surface level stuff. It always does. So yeah, whenever people are complaining about what it is they have to do, it's never the problem. It's never the tasks we have to do. It's not the appointments we have to run to. It always goes that bit deeper. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this session. So who's excited so far? Does everyone resonate with this stuff? Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. I'm glad it's not just me. I'm not alone. Excellent. So this stuff that you are feeling, so if you can resonate with everything that I've just said, and it's like, I just need to be better time managed, like I need to manage my time better, I need to do better, I need to work. It's not your fault. No, you don't. It's none of that stuff. None of this is your fault, okay? We are living in times that cause us to be frazzled. There is so much stimulation in our day to day that cause us to be frazzled. So not only do we have a lot to do and we're juggling a lot, but there's a lot of extra stuff. So we've got social media, we've got, fluorescent lights, we've got it's all unnatural. We often put in roles that are not natural to us, put in offices with people who we don't particularly like and wouldn't normally interact with. Like, there's a lot that goes against our, the way that we are naturally meant to be, which is hunting and gathering. So all of these things cause us to be frazzled. But hopefully in this masterclass, I can bring to your attention why we get frazzled, and then you get to decide what you get frazzled about. Because obviously stress, challenge, shit's going to go down. That's life. But you get to decide what is important to you, and you get to decide what you are going to spend your energy on. Sound good? Excellent. Okay. So I love starting with a definition. So let's talk about what is being frazzled? What's frazzled? So frazzled means that you are showing the effects of exhaustion or strain in a nutshell. So it means that you are extremely tired in a nervous or slightly worried way after a lot of mental or physical effort. And you are in a state of extreme physical or nervous fatigue and agitation. So there are big words in there. So exhaustion, strain, nervous, worried, mental and physical effort, agitation, fatigue. Like these are big words. So you can interchange the word frazzled, you can interchange it with burnt out, you can interchange it with stressed, all of those things. It all means that you're exhausted, not only physically, but mentally as well, because women carry a big friggin' load. We carry a big load. Okay. So, what does it feel like to be frazzled? What does it feel like in the body? Oops. Oh, how did I get back there? That was clever of you, Canva. Well done. Okay, let's try this. There we go. So, what does frazzled feel like in your body? It feels like a complete depletion of mental, emotional, and physical energy, which can't be fixed with normal tactics like a few days off or a nap. So I love it when you're running off your feet and someone says, just go have a lie down. It's like, yeah, I can rest this, but try resting this. Like you've still got the little hamster going in the wheel up here. So it's not proper rest. It's only, a quarter of the problem you're solving. So it feels like it's an endless game of whack-a-mole. Sometimes it feels like no matter what you do, it's not going to even make a dent in the workload that you've got. It feels like you're just constantly like, that, like I fixed that now, that's come up. So it feels like you constantly got something to do. And I've got a bag of rocks there because that's what it feels like. It feels like a bag of rocks. And oftentimes we talk about the surface level of rocks that we carry. So the rocks on top of the bag that people see, which is, the looking after the kids, the housework, the, running kids, partners to appointments, the working. People can see that load. But what they don't see is the load underneath that load. So it's like, yeah, I've got kids and I'm worried about what school to put them into because I don't want to make the wrong decision because if I put them in the wrong school, we've invested money on uniforms and books and it's the wrong school and then we have to redo it all over again. And so I don't want to make a mistake and then I'll get judged around it. And then and I've got to cook dinner, but is it nutritionally balanced, and little Jimmy's got allergies, so I need to make another one for him. And have we got enough food? Like that's the rocks under the rocks, right? It's all the what ifs, the how to's, the uncertainties, the fear of judgment, all of the other stuff that we carry adds to that bag of rocks. If it was just the surface level stuff, it'd be a little bag of pebbles we'd be happy to carry around, but it's not. It's all of the underlying stuff that comes with it. And we're going to be talking about the underlying stuff in this as well, which is very, very cool. So yeah, it's an endless game of whack-a-mole. It's like a bag of rocks that we carry around with us that people only see the surface of, but they don't see what the rest of the bag of rocks are. So that's what frazzled feels like in your body. It's just like an exhaustion that a nap is not going to fix. A good night's sleep might put a dent in it, but it's not going to fix it. Okay. So what does it look like? So when someone is frazzled, what behaviors are they going to display? So inability to relax and sleep, fidgety, can't sit still, might need a little something to help them get off to sleep. Moody and irritable. When you have got nothing left in the tank and someone asks one more thing of you, bang, alligator, snap. So people who are frazzled are moody and irritable. They are not their best and highest self when they've got nothing left to give. Reactive, snappy, sarcastic, passive aggressive. This was me. Nikki's like, I feel so seen. Not at all, Nikki. Unable to make decisions. So you've got so much going on that you're not confident in making a firm decision for yourself because you can't clearly focus on any one thing. lack of motivation. You get to the end of the day and you're like, I can't even get up to wash my face and put my pajamas on to go to bed because I don't have it in me. Withdrawing from support systems. Now, this is a big one, which Nikki, you can hang your head in shame for that one too. Because like when we are frazzled, women especially, we're a bit like cats. We like to hide under the house and lick our own wounds. Like we don't reach out for support when we're frazzled and when we need it. So when you notice that someone is withdrawing, they're not socializing, they're not texting you like they should be, it could be because they're frazzled. They've got a lot on. So yeah, when they withdraw from social supports, it could mean that they're being frazzled. Excessive use of substances, so like needing your scotch and caffeine-free Diet Coke to go to sleep. Yeah, and it's not to say that you can't enjoy those things, but it depends on what energy it comes from. Like if you feel like you're dependent on it to get yourself off to sleep, that's when it's a problem. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, but if you're using it as a crutch, then it might be a problem. And as I say, I wanted you to come into this with like a willingness to be curious about the things that you do. So yeah, explore that if you think it comes from that energy. And addiction, obviously. So addiction to alcohol, drugs, scrolling, like doom scrolling, like all of these things. As I say, not a problem if it comes from the energy of I enjoy it, but if it comes from the energy of I need it, different. Yes, Nikki.
Sorry. I was just going to say that it's something I've noticed during the last, what has it been, like 18 months, 2 years, that I've had a whole heap going on at work and stuff, that whenever something happened and I got upset, the first thing I said was, I'm going to the pub. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm going to the pub. I need a wine. I'm going for a wine. I can't think about this unless I've got a wine in my hand. So
yeah,
yeah, it's very different these days, and I don't feel the need quite so much just to
yeah,
do that. But yeah, when something big happens, I still do like go back to that.
mm,
Like, oh my God, I just need to go and get a wine.
yeah,
But I try not to. So I'm
yeah.
trying to be better.
And but sometimes as well, like when big things happen, sometimes we do need a little bit of scaffolding to lean on, just to give yourself a breath to go, right, okay, now I'm going to do the work.
It's the shock. I think it's the shock. So when things happen to me, sometimes it comes out of left field, and I'm like, "What the that just happen? What? I
Yeah,
don't get it."
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep.
And I'm going, I need to think, I need to think, and my brain is everywhere. It's all over the place, and I'm in total fight or flight, like
Mhm.
fear, all of the Fs. You know?
Yes, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and so I still do that. But I do try to stop at one.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I think, as I said, like when something big happens, to just
Hmm.
take the sharpness off the edge off it, it can be
Yeah,
helpful. But if you're
yeah.
depending on it every single night, like I remember when my kids were little, like I'm saying, like Lila would have been, 3, 4 years old, Ashton would have been 1 or 2. Every single night, if I didn't have scotch in the house, there would be a panic in me that I wouldn't be able to wind down. That's the energy that I'm talking about. That's the
Oh
frazzle.
no, I've definitely been there. I've
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely been
Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the last couple of years, like literally. But now we're getting better. Jason and I together are getting better. And yeah, but sometimes if he's being a twat, I'm just gonna say something else.
Kids.
Like tonight, being a twat, the footy's on. Anyway, yes, sometimes like that, that's when I'm a bit like, oh, I'm just gonna have 3 or 4.
Bottles.
Anyway, I think I should shut up now. Anyway,
You've incriminated yourself now, Nikki. But it's good. It's good to share. It's good to normalize it. Like you're not on your own with this, right? You're not on your own. Everyone has experienced this, and yeah, it's good to know that you're not by yourself.
no, and my mum and dad drink every night. Every night they have a wine together. So,
Mhm.
for me that's normal.
Yeah, yeah, and that comes down. Yeah, we'll talk about beliefs and things very soon as well about what we what's been modeled to us has a big impact on our belief systems as well. So yeah, okay. So it looks like inability to sleep, irritability, snappy, reactive, sarcastic, all of those things. So everyone can relate to at least 1 or 2 things on that list of being frazzled. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So if this was to continue, so if we were to continue to be as frazzled as what we are every day, or, 3, 4 times a week, what would that start to look like? What are the long-term issues if you continue to stay frazzled? You start to get gut, heart, and fertility problems. So if you are in a constant state of fight or flight, when you are constantly stressed, that is flooding your system with stress hormones all the time. So thinking cortisol, thinking adrenaline. Adrenaline makes your heart pump quicker to get the blood to the muscles quicker so you can run. That constant stimulation of your heart, not good for you. Gut problems. You're not going to digest your food if you need to run. So then you start getting gut problems. So think Crohn's disease, think ulcerative colitis, think digestion issues. Fertility problems. You can't reproduce if you're running for your life. So if you are constantly feeling in fight or flight, your body's going to shut that down, because it's like, well, you're not going to have babies if you're constantly running from danger. That's what your body does. So mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, if you are constantly anxious and worried about what's going to happen next and what people are thinking of you, etc., that becomes your normal. And to actually relax feels unsafe to you. So that becomes an issue. So autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is a big one. And I talk about this a lot in my program, Self-Care Matters, which I'm going to be talking about at the end of this. So my Self-Care Matters program, the first bottom foundational pillar that you'll see on that is feeling emotional. Emotional regulation is so important. And it has been shown in studies like books like Gabor Mate's When the Body Says No, What Happened to You by Oprah. Oprah's written a book called What's Happened to You, When the Body Keeps the Score. Those sort of books, they show that lack of emotional processing actually starts off autoimmune disease. 70% of autoimmune disease are women, because women don't know how to effectively express themselves and process their emotions. So autoimmune disease, we're talking Crohn's disease, MS, anywhere where the body attacks itself, lupus, what else is there? There's so many. There's so many. Arthritis, cancers. Yeah, it's been shown that lack of emotional processing can cause autoimmune diseases. Fragmenting your relationship. So if you are constantly on edge and people are asking more of you and you've got nothing left to give and you're snapping and you're being reactive, you're not a safe person for your close relationships. So they're going to stop coming to you, and it's going to affect their experience of you if you are someone who is continuously snapping and resentful and unhappy. So it will fragment your relationships, so your close relationships, partners, kids, the whole shebang. It's going to lead to having a poor life experience for yourself and your family. We are here to have a great experience of life, and if we're frazzled all the time, we're not enjoying life. We're constantly running around chasing our tail. That's not a life. That's not what we've been here for. So poor life experience, and you are going to pass your frazzlement onto your kids, onto your family. They're going to look at the state that you are in when you are in stress and when you're frazzled and go, oh, that's what love looks like. Oh, that's normal. I'm meant to be frazzled. If I'm not burnt out and snapping, then that's what love is. Okay, I get that. Like, that's not what you want your kids to know. You don't want your kids to be frazzled. Okay. So what are the things that we are getting frazzled about? I've narrowed it down to 4, and I've tried to go that little extra layer deeper, because obviously we're frazzled about lots of chores, lots of tasks that we do, but I'm trying to go that little extra layer deeper. So we're frazzled about household chores. Now, this is very interesting. This is the research I did before this, but I'd be very interested to see how many men are doing 16 to 18 hours of housework. Because I'm pretty sure my husband doesn't. So household chores. Women do 21 hours of housework a week. compared to men's 16 to 18 hours. So gender inequality in household chores, even if both partners are working full time. That's the balance. And the balance increases in the women's, I was going to say the women's favor, but maybe not favor, when kids come into the picture. So the workloads get heavier for women when kids are brought into the picture. So we get frazzled about that. We have been raised to be human givers, not human beings. So when you think of everything that you have learnt and witnessed from birth to 7 years old, it's like it's not like we're able to think for ourselves. We've just got the record button going on in our brain from birth to 7 years old, and it records everything that we see, we learn, we witness from birth to 7 years old. So everything that we see from our mothers and the women in our life and what they do, we go, okay, that's what a woman does. That's what a woman does. That's what a mum does. That's what a grandma does. Everything is on record and everything goes into our subconscious. So everything that we see and we learn in that stage of our lives, we believe to be true. So if you came from a nuclear family where the mum did most of the housework and looked after the kids and cooked the meals, plus or minus worked, we think that's normal. That's what love is. That's what a mum does. And oftentimes women, when they are, born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, like a lot of our mums were, they come from a generation from the 50s that had the Good Wife's Guide as a guidance of what a good wife does. And I'm about to go into that in the next slide. But it basically made us be human givers, not human beings. So human giver syndrome is women who have a moral obligation to give their time, money, energy, attention, affection, bodies, resources, power, money, job, everything to the human beings in their life, which is their children, their partners, their parents. So when we are raised to be these human givers, we give everything, and we're meant to look pretty while we're doing it, smile while we're doing it, and be grateful to be doing it. So we have been raised by human givers to be human givers. Who can resonate with that? Feel that very deeply, very deeply. So what else are we being frazzled about? Societal expectations. Society says we can have it all, but actually don't tell us how we can have it all, and make sure we don't stuff it up either, because then you'll be judged. So, so you can have kids, you can have the family, you can have the partner, you can have the career, you can have it all, but we don't tell you how to have it. And if you can't hold it all, there's going to be judgment around it. So yeah, we feel that one deeply. Yeah. We are frazzled about our own beliefs about who we need to be. So we have our own expectations of us needing to hold it all. I'm not enough if I'm not able to do it all. So what do we tell ourselves about our worthiness if we drop a ball? If we're not able to carry it all? Yep. We're not enough. So yeah, and I've thrown the Good Wife's Guide in there. So that Good Wife's Guide, you can Google it. Oh, Helen Tink has arrived. That's lovely. Good, we'll let her in. So the Good Wife's Guide, that was created by, I think it was like a Woman's Weekly or something in 1953. And it was all about like the expectations of women as housewives in the 50s and what was expected.
Hey,
Helen, how you going?
hello. I'm not muted, am I? Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'll mute you, but I'd love your camera on if you're able to. Excellent. Just so I can make sure I'm not leaving anyone behind and I can get some feedback from everyone. Hi, Helen. Good to see you. Welcome. We've been at it for about 40 minutes now, but yeah, I'm glad that you're here. Excellent. So yeah, Yeah, so the Good Wife's Guide was created by, I don't know, probably a man, about who women needed to be and what they needed to do for their men. And so it was completely, it's a very interesting read. It's a good laugh too of what the expectations were. But this was like a template for what women should be in the 50s. And this is what our parents saw and witnessed when they were growing up. So that's our parents' belief systems. And so, of course, we take on our parents' belief systems because everything we see from birth to 7 years old has been recorded. So then that becomes our belief system. So it's the knock-on effect of these societal expectations that we are trying to live up to. So that's another thing that we are frazzled about. What do we tell ourselves about our worthiness if we don't juggle it all? What are we making it mean about us if we're not able to do all the things? And who do we want to impress? This is a good one. The roles that we play is all dependent on who do we want us to see us? Who do we want to see us in our frazzled state? Who do we want to go, look at me, I'm frazzled. Please give to me, like what need is being met by saying, look at how frazzled I am, please see me. So who are we doing this for? Who do we want to impress by our frazzlement? So those are some things to think about what we're frazzled about. Does that list resonate with people? Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it's not just the cooking, the cleaning, the job, the backing and forthing, the kids, the appointments. This is what we're really getting frazzled about. So expectations, our beliefs on who we need to be, who we're trying to impress, just for Helen, because she's just jumped on. The fact that we have been raised to be human givers, not human beings, and basically the inequality of household chores around the house. Very big gender roles gap. So let's bring it right back to brass tacks. What is our life purpose? I love coming back to this. We did not come to this life experience. We are not put on this earth to pay bills and die. Like, that's just not what we are here to do. Do you think God, in all of his infinite wisdom, said, let's just create these humans to work in jobs that they hate, run around, chase their own tails, and then die exhausted? Absolutely not. So, and I just put what were these guys called? They sung Bittersweet Symphony. The Verve. You know, how that first line in Bittersweet Symphony, I always come back to that. It's like, it's a bittersweet symphony, that's life, made to make ends meet. You're a slave to money, then you die. It's like, we are not here for that. That is not our purpose. We are not here to sacrifice our purpose and our destiny for our parents, for our children, for our partners. We actually have our own path to forge. And it's not running around doing crap that's not important. We are here because we chose to be. Our spirits chose to have this experience. And we chose the life that we have. So with our kids, with our partners, the setup that we're in, we did choose it because on some level we really wanted it. But oftentimes women feel trapped by it. We get it and then we're like, oh, crap, now I'm stuck. I'm not quite sure why I asked for all this. And you did on some level want it. And I'm sure that you still do, but you don't want to feel trapped by it. So let's change all of that because it's not what we're here to do. We are not here to run around and chase our tails. Okay. So how do we turn the frazzle into dazzle? Give us the old frazzle dazzle. Okay, that's it. Yeah, jazz hands. Excellent. So we think about what makes us frazzled. We think that what makes us frazzled is running the errands, the kids, the cooking, the cleaning, the tasks that we have to do every day. But as you will learn when you start to do this personal development work, the problem is never the problem. It's always surface level. It's always runs a lot deeper than surface level. So underneath it all, frazzle is run by fear, What are you afraid will happen if you don't get yourself frazzled? Brilliant question. What are you afraid will happen? Your beliefs around what you need to be frazzled about, and realigning what you think is important. What are your values? What is important to you? So let's explore those. And I've put my 7 Slaves to Life little model there because we dive deep, deep, deep into these things in my 7 Slaves to Life program. Understanding fear and all its sneaky little ways of showing up, how to hold uncertainty and challenge, which is what anxiety is all about, that not being able to hold uncertainty, aligning your beliefs and emotionally processing are the big core foundation pieces of that program. It's so, so, so good. Anyway, so let's talk about what fear, beliefs, and values are, because I love a definition. I love being on the same page so we all know what we're talking about. So fear is the threat of danger or harm, either physically or emotionally. So you're scared of something hurting you one way or another. Okay? Beliefs. What do you believe? So beliefs are a thought you keep on thinking. It is a convenient assumption. It is something that we believe to be true that we don't often challenge. And a belief is something that you think to be true without proof. So that is what a belief is. And values. Values are what you say is important to you. And that's going to be a key factor in what you get frazzled about as well. So in a nutshell, that's what the fear, the beliefs, and the values are, just so we're all on the same page. So fear is a threat of danger or harm to yourself physically or emotionally. Beliefs is what you assume to be true. Values is what you say is important to you. Okay, so what are the things that we are scared of? What do we fear? So interesting. So back in the day, evolution has made us go into flight, fright, or freeze. Think of caveman days. We were scared of saber-toothed tigers. We were scared of lack of food. And we were scared that something would happen to our family. Maybe a saber-toothed tiger would eat our family or our husband and we would go hungry. Those are quite natural fears, probably fairly good to fear those things. Like they're good, healthy fears, okay? Nowadays, what are we scared of? We are scared of judgment at the workplace, of not belonging, not fitting in. We get an email from our boss and the same fear of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger is the same fear that we feel when we get an email from our boss. It's the same reaction, but one's reasonable, one's not so reasonable. You're not going to die from an email from your boss, but the same hormones kick in, the same thought process starts. Judgment from mother-in-laws. That's what that's meant to be. So the things that the same feelings kick in with our body, but we're fearing things that aren't actually a physical threat to our well-being. So that's the difference between fears that we used to have and fears that we do have. Obviously, there are healthy fears around. Fear is useful. Fear stops us from jumping off, tall buildings and, walking into oncoming traffic. But a lot of the things that we fear that cause us to be frazzled all boils down to what I like to call the big four. So every fear that we have can all come down to the fear of not belonging, not being enough, not being loved or liked by people, and being judged. So everything that we do in fear can come down to not belonging, not being enough, not being loved or liked, and being judged. And the fear of not being able to handle it if any of those 4 fears happen. Does that resonate with everyone? Yeah. So everything that we do in fear, so people pleasing, what are we fearing? Not being loved or liked. So yeah, and you could think of it in any scenario. And again, I do all of this work in my 7 Slaves to Life program. It is so, so good. We talk about fear in all its sneaky little forms. It sneaks up on you. So fear, frazzled examples. So the reason why we are frazzled and the fears underneath it. So imagine a visit from your mother-in-law has you going around the house frantically cleaning. So which fear are we feeding into here? And you can take yourself off mute. You can put it on in the chat, whatever you like. So what one of those, what 1, 2, 3 of those fears are you feeding when you run around the house cleaning because mother-in-law is coming? Making you think. Go, Nikki.
To be honest, totally honest, I never allowed my mother-in-law to make me feel bad about anything.
Oh, good.
So my mother-in-law is she was the old fashioned, and she still is to this day. She won't let anyone do anything. She does the cooking, she does the cleaning. 4 a.m. every day she's up, she's vacuuming the house, has been her whole life. She used to take whatever my husband left in his jeans, she would take things out of the pockets. She would wash, dry, fold, then put them back in the pockets.
Oh, what a woman.
When I met my husband, he used to play a lot of sport, and he would come home from sport at like 9 o'clock at night, and his dinner was still in the oven on warm, ready for him to eat. Yeah, so I grew up with parents that worked. My mother worked her whole life, and my father worked very hard. They left home at 5 a.m. and they got home at 7 p.m. at night. That was their day. So I grew up actually doing things at home to help them. But seriously, well, they all came over last weekend, actually. I had like a house full of people for Jason's birthday. And you know how much I've struggled with trying to find balance in my life. It's been really, really hard. And a month ago, I bit the bullet, and I have a cleaner now that comes in once a fortnight, only once a fortnight, and that's it. And they come in, they do 3 hours, and they wash everything and they clean everything. And in between, we just need to do a bit of a vacuum. But yeah, that saved my life. Like, it's just, I don't cook it. You know, I used to cook. I used to cook. Spent all weekend cooking the meals for the whole week ahead, because I've always worked full time. My kids went to OSH in the morning at 6:30 when I was working, and then they went to school from there. So like, I've never been that person at home.
That's good.
But I've felt guilty my whole life. But working with you for the last few years, like, you know, I've slowly learning that I'm worth more than that.
Yeah, I love that. So you've decided, which is what we're going to be talking about, the 4 steps to counteract the frazzle. You've decided what you're going to get frazzled over. But interestingly, because of those expectations that you have heard, like, there's still that guilt around it, and that, you know, it goes back to the fear of not being enough. I'm not enough. I'm not the same.
And so I had to actually, like I did, after a few years of marriage, I had to sit my mother-in-law down. And I just said, I'm not you. I'm never gonna be you. Your son is like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, he's got no life skills.
None.
Yeah.
None. And I said, I love him, but I will kick his ass out if he doesn't pull his finger out. Like, I mean, that's a bit rude, but you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't start helping, like, I'm not doing all of this on my own, and I earn more than he does. Like, it's, you know, it's stupid that, but anyway. So It's really hard though. I feel a lot of pressure, and I always have to be that perfect person, as you well know, and I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So interesting, like you've decided, but yeah, that there's still that fear of being judged, not being enough, not being liked by her. Like,
Well, I've just discovered that I don't care
yeah,
whether she likes me or not.
that's
I,
brilliant.
I honestly, after 28 whatever years it has been since I've been married, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
don't, I
That's
don't care, but her son lives with me, not her.
yeah. There you go. So yes, that's brilliant example. That's great. So Lisa said being judged and not enough. Absolutely. Fiona said all of them. Yep, 100%. Finding the right school for the kids. So you're frazzled around finding the right school for the kids. So what's the fear there? Making a wrong decision, not being enough of a good parent because you've made the wrong decision, you've chosen wrong for your child. So next one, not being able to complete a task at work, and you know your mates like me and Steph, especially being nurses, you do a morning shift and you don't get everything done. The judgment that comes from the PM shift, why didn't you get this done? Oh, you're not enough. You get judged around your workload about not managing your time properly. So there's that fear there as well. Running out of food in the house. Oh, you're a crap mum. Didn't you realize we're running short on that? You know, now you haven't got enough nutritious food in the house. Like, so there's that underlying, oh, you're not enough. You're being judged. So there's always something, isn't it? So all of these fears, are these fears actually reasonable and true? Yeah, you might get judged. You might be enough, but is it an expectation that we put on ourselves? Is it true that if any of that happens, and this is and Nikki has just articulated it beautifully, is it true that if you don't belong, if you're not liked or loved, if you've been told that you're not enough and you've been judged, that you're not going to be able to handle it? Absolutely, you can handle it. Absolutely, you can. But we act and we get frazzled because we think that we can't handle it. So that's the fears that come from being frazzled. I've got to get moving because like I've still got to go and it's 8 o'clock already. Beliefs. So what are some of the beliefs that you have and that you believe to be true for you around, and I'd love for you to make a note of this, and like obviously don't dive deep into it now, but what are the beliefs that you have around women in work and sacrifices that need to be made to accommodate partners and family? What are the beliefs that you have around that? What are the beliefs that you have around marriage? What are the beliefs that you have around being a mother? And the ways that you can uncover these unconscious beliefs, because a lot of your beliefs are unconscious, is start off the sentence with being married means, and then whatever comes out next. So for me, marriage, what was modeled to me and what I believe to be true about marriage was you were always nitpicking at each other. Like that's what I thought marriage was. I didn't see it as it being a happy place. What do you believe to be true about motherhood? Well, mums have to do everything. Mums carry the brunt. What do you believe to be true about gender roles in relationships and housework? Well, that's my department. I need to do that and I can't drop the ball. That was my belief. What are your beliefs around self-care? I believe that self-care was something that rich people who had good husbands did. That was my belief around self-care. Cultural expectations. Like it depends, what culture did you come from? Interestingly, I was got my toenails done today, as you do, and the Vietnamese, and they were talking about like when she noticed my varicose veins. Very, you know how subtle they are. The girls at the nail clinic, right? They're so subtle. They're like, "Oh, you got veins," and she's like, "You didn't have enough rest after you had your babies." And I said, "I know." She goes, "That's why you got veins." And she goes, "When we have babies, our mums come and stay with us for like 3 months." And I said, "Yeah, no, none of that for us. None of that for us." So it's like, yeah, so cultural expectations around what we believe to be true. So again, that's something that we talk about a lot in the Seven Slays. So what you believe, you wouldn't think it if you haven't done this work, but what your beliefs are shape your reality. What you believe to be true for you, you will end up creating. So Henry Ford very famously said, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. So whatever you believe to be true, you are going to create, because we love being right. We don't like being wrong. So beliefs that I prove to myself to be right is when you have babies, you put on weight. I was 54 kilos when I got pregnant. No, sorry, 59 kilos. And I put on 32 kilos with Lila. I swore I was going to have a 32 kilo baby. But there was a belief that I had that you put on weight when you're pregnant, and I made sure, come hell or high water, that belief came true. So the beliefs that I had around marriage, I made sure that was true. I was a nitpicking pain in the backside. The beliefs I had around motherhood, it's hard, it's not fun. I made sure that was true for me. So yeah, what you believe to be true for you is what you will end up creating. So are your beliefs giving you learned helplessness? Because you don't question your beliefs, do you let it run the show? So think of a little baby elephant that was taken from its mother and gets, taken into the village to do work. It gets, chained to a stake in the ground, and the little baby elephant's pulling and tugging, but it can't get away from the stake in the ground. But as soon as that elephant gets bigger, it still stays to the stake in the ground because it never challenges the belief that it has that it is stuck to the stake in the ground. Believe me, if that elephant decided to, it would pull the stake out the ground and rampage to the village, but it never thinks to challenge it. So a lot of your beliefs are unconscious and they run the show. So Carl Jung famously said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Powerful statement. So dig into your belief systems and what you believe to be true. And if it doesn't serve you, or it feels heavy, or you're thinking, why am I doing this? Question it. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Do I need to be doing it? Do I need to be doing it like this? Like, does it need to be done in this frantic energy? Can it wait? Like, question your beliefs. Whatever feels frantic, what feels heavy, what feels discombobulating in your system, question it. Do you need to be doing it? Who says? By whose rules? So question your beliefs. Third, values. Values drive your frazzlement. So deciding what is really important to you. So your values and what you believe to be important are the driving force behind the things that you do, the behaviors that you display, the actions that you take, the tasks that you do. You do what you believe to be important to you. So I would say take a minute down to write this down, but we're already at 8:06, so I won't. But just jot down these few things and have a think about the things that you value. So most things that people value is their health, their financial security, their personal growth, their contribution to the community, their relationship with their children, their relationship with their partner, their relationship with their family, spirituality. So those are some of the things that we value. And in the 2025 vibe that I did at the start of the year, we did the Wheel of Life. Those categories, those 8 categories around the Wheel of Life, they can be classed as values because they are things that are important to you. Okay, so when you decide what is important to you, what are your values, I want you to then prove it. Prove that what you say is valuable to you. Prove that it is. How so? So what are you doing to prove to yourself and others that you value these things? What behaviors do you display and actions do you take that align to your values? So many of the things that we say we value, and this is going to trigger a few people, many of the things that we say we value aren't actually values. They're just a nice idea. So if we say we value our health, but we're eating half a packet of Tim Tams at night, then the idea of health is a nice idea, but we don't actually really value it, do we? Because our actions are not concurrent with that value. See what I mean? Right? So, examples of proving your values is if you say that you value your relationship with your children, but you're prioritizing cleaning and other tasks over playing or building your relationship with your kids, what are your actions saying you value more? So I understand that cleaning needs to be done, but if you haven't paid any attention to your children all day and you value your relationship with your children, but you won't put down the vacuum cleaner, what is that saying that you value more? So let that sink in. And then ask yourself, why am I doing this? And that will go back to your fears and your beliefs. I fear judgment if my house is dirty. So if you say you value your intimate partner, but things haven't been great, what actions are you doing to make it better? If you value it, what are you doing to prove to yourself that you value it? Are you reading any books around relationships? Are you taking a relationships course? Are you carving time out of your day to connect with your partner? Interestingly, I heard it take 90 minutes a week is how long we should be sitting and talking with our partners per week. And I do that now, but I never used to since I did my Let's Talk Relationships program. I used to always bypass it thinking I'll get to him later, and I never got to him. And it takes time. It does take a good chunk of my day, but I do make sure that I sit with my partner for at least that 90 minutes per week so I can connect with him. What's important to him? What's stressing him out? What does he value? So yeah. Another example, if you say your health is a priority, yet you grab the Snickers bar instead of the apple, what do you value? Do you value your health, or do you value the freedom of being able to eat what it is you want when you want to eat it? Because we can have lots of different values, but it depends on where on the scale your values sit as well. So that's some examples around how your fears and your beliefs and your values drive what you are getting stressed over. So when you dive into your fears, your beliefs, and your values around all the things that you're frazzled about, you soon realize the reasons you're frazzled are due to outdated patriarchal belief systems that play on your fears of not being enough, not belonging, not being loved, or not being judged. And you are doing shit that doesn't matter because you are running off a value system that is not yours. It is what other people value. It is not what you value. So when you question all of those things, what are you afraid of? What do you believe to be true for you? And what do you value? Question it all, and then you can decide what you're going to get frazzled about. Does that make sense? Has that been a really long-winded way of like stating what? I feel like there needed to be the groundwork there for that. But it really does run so much deeper than I've just got a lot of shit to do. It's why you are doing the shit that you're doing. Why? Is it important to you? Is it actually important to you, or is it important to other people? You know, it's so interesting. And when you really dive into this and you really start exploring and journaling around this stuff, it's going to like blow your whole belief system wide open. So how do we turn the frazzle into dazzle? So this is my 4-step system into how to turn your frazzle into dazzle. So number 1, decide. It's the D's, the 4 D's. You decide. You set a daily intention. You instill doubt in your belief systems and your fears, and you delegate other tasks that you don't need to be doing. So you decide what's important to you for the day. You set a daily intention around it. You instill doubt in anything that makes you feel frazzled. Do I need to be doing this? Who says I need to be doing this? Do I need to be doing it this way? Is this a priority? Is this going into what I've decided is important for me today? And then delegate anything, like not everything needs to be done by you. Okay. So decide. Number 1, When you wake up in the morning, decide what is important to you, not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not your kids, not society, not Sammy Brown Jones down the road. What is important to you? Because your values is what makes you you, and it's going to affect your life experience and the way that you experience every single day. So decide what is important to you. So today I'm going to take the kids to the play center and we are going to have an absolute ball. I'm deciding that that's what's going to happen. I'm deciding I'm going to be a carefree, fun mum today. I'm deciding that I'm going to say yes to everything my kids say today because it's going to be fun for them. I'm deciding that I'm not going to be stressed about vacuuming the floors. I'm deciding. Take the power back. You decide what's important for you. What are you deciding to value today? And you can decide to value getting the house clean because I understand that shit needs to be done too. But that's one day a week. What are you deciding for the rest? Then set a daily intention based on what you've decided is important to you. Set a daily intention of what am I going to prioritize today? I prioritize being a carefree mum. I prioritize building a fort with the kids and making a mess. I prioritize in building a relationship with my partner. I'm prioritizing going out for lunch with him and making him a priority today. Who are you deciding to be? I am setting the intention of being really productive today. I'm going to spend 4 hours on my business on the computer. I'm deciding I'm going to be a good mum, good partner, good person, productive. That's what I'm deciding to be. So set a daily intention. Your mind will do whatever if it doesn't have a focus. When you set a daily intention, it's going to go, oh, we're back here again. And when it starts to go like this, go, what was my intention? Boom. It is going to make up all sorts of stuff if you don't have a focus for it. So give it a focus, and then every action that you take throughout the day is going to be aligned with that focus. And that focus is going to be aligned with your values and what is important to you. See how it's all coming together? Oh, this is good. Right. Daily intention. What are you prioritizing? What state are you deciding to be in today? I'm deciding I'm going to be carefree and happy. I'm deciding I'm going to be focused and productive today. I'm deciding I'm not going to let little shit affect me today. I'm deciding that I'm going to be happy today. What state do you decide to be in? And who are you deciding to be? I'm going to be a good partner. I'm going to be a good mum. I'm going to be a good whatever. Okay. Doubt. Instill doubt into everything that feels like a should, a need to, a have to, or feels heavy in your body. So whenever you think, oh, I really should do those dishes, bang, should you? Should you? Who says? Can they be delegated to someone else later, like a teenager or a partner or someone else? So yeah, if it feels heavy, if it's a should, a need to, a have to, and it feels heavy, does it need to be done this way? Does it need to be done right now? Do I need to be doing that? Is that actually true? Am I the only one that can do that? So instill doubt. And you might come back to, yeah, it is only me that can do that. Yeah, so you might, but instill that doubt. I want you to second guess, does it need to be done this way? Does it have to be done by me? So yeah, asking yourselves these questions. Do I really need to do this? Does it have to be done now? Does it have to be done in this energy of franticness, of this fear of what will happen if I don't do it? Who says I need to be doing this now, in this way, in this energy? What am I afraid will happen if I don't do it? Is that something that I could handle if it happens? If I'm judged around, having dust bunnies under the bed, can I handle that? Probably, right? So yeah, instill doubt in anything that feels like a should, a needs to, a has to, and feels heavy in your system. And then last but not least, delegate. Not everything needs to be done by you. If you have got other people in the house, ask them to do stuff. Relinquish control about how it needs to be done, because no one's going to do it as well as you anyway. But like, can it be done imperfectly to take some of that load off? So the reason we take on so much is because we're scared around asking for help, because we're scared that they're going to judge us. We're scared that they're going to reject us. They're scared that we're going to think that we can't do it all if we ask for help. So this is something that I talk a lot about in my Let's Talk communication program. What are your needs and how do you ask for them? How do you even figure out what your needs are? We go right into that in this program. It is amazing. So yeah, the reason why we don't ask for help is because there's fear around it. So yeah, we ask ourselves, what does it say about me if I can't do it all? And is your martyrdom, because this was me, what is your martyrdom causing your own resentment? I'm the only one that can look after my children. No, step aside. I'll do it. And then I'd get resentful because I was the only one that was doing it, but I wouldn't let anyone else do it either. So delegate, relinquish control. You don't need to be the one that does everything. So programs, how to really remove. So has that been helpful? Before we go into any further, has that been helpful? Excellent. Cool, cool, cool. Steph, are you still with us, love?
Yep, it's been good.
Excellent. Cool, cool, cool. Excellent. I tried to keep the swearing down, Steph. Sorry.
No, all good. They're going to bed.
Oh, good, good, good. Excellent, excellent, good. But yeah, I just wanted to go into that deeper layer of like, don't just, delegate, drink a chamomile tea, go for a run and everything will be well. Like, I really wanted to dig into the deep stuff of what is causing you to really be frazzled and question all of it. Question. And you might question it and go, yep, it can only be done by me. Yep, it is all up to me. And that's good. But I want you to question it. I want you to instill doubt. Because what you'll probably find is that when you really question it and you're open and willing to really dig into it, you're going to find, actually, no, that doesn't need to be by me. Actually, that was an expectation that I've just put on myself. No one actually really expects me to do this stuff. So, yeah. I mean, I wasted years keeping the house tidy, thinking that that's what my husband expected of me, but I'm sure he would have been much happier to see a happy, settled wife in a dirty house than have someone who was bitchy, moaning, a martyr in a clean house. So, if you are frazzled, one of the things that you are lacking is self-care. And I used to get so triggered by the word self-care because I thought, awesome, self-care, that's something that rich women with excellent husbands, they do for themselves. They go out for yoga retreats and drink green smoothies, and good for them. But I can't afford that. And that used to trigger me. But what I've realized after doing this work, that is not the self-care that matters. If I knew this in the times when I was martyring myself, when I was snappy, passive-aggressive, pain in the backside, who was frazzled all the time, I would not have been as frazzled. So Self-Care Matters program is starting next month. I haven't got a date yet, but I will. It is a 4-week live program, and it is getting you into feeling what you feel, because a lot of the reason why we are so frazzled is we don't actually allow our emotions to be what they are. We don't allow ourselves to feel our shit. So it's about feeling what you feel, allowing it all, knowing what you need by processing your emotions, understanding what you need, and then getting what you want and asking for it. It is a brilliant program. It's not about going out and doing your yoga retreats and things that you feel like you're already failing around, because that's another thing that I felt around self-care. It's, oh, good, it's just another thing I'm stuffing up. That's awesome. Thank you. It's actually doing the work that's not going to cost anything, but it is the deep work that is going to impact the way you feel about your life experience. When you can process your emotions, express your needs clearly, and do the things that you love, the way that you experience life is going to be exponentially better. So this is a live 4-week program. You get a free, or I wouldn't say free one-on-one, but included in the program is a 2-hour-long one-on-one human design reading. That is $999. Let me know if you would like to be in on that program. My clients loved the Self-Care Matters program. So that's some of the feedback that I got throughout the course of that program. Next program I have available, if you are interested, is the Let's Talk program. This program is freaking gangbusters. I say 12 months access, but I'm never going to kick anyone out. And it's over 8 hours of self-paced content, workbooks, journaling prompts, plus Q&A sessions. This goes deep into self-expression, why we don't say what we mean, why we're so scared of confrontation, how, like the actual words to say when we need to confront someone or express a need, what relationships are all about, attachment theory, what a insecure attachment looks like, what a secure attachment looks like, what an anxious attachment looks like, how to resolve those issues in relationships. It is freaking gangbusters, this program, and I'm always adding to it because I'm always learning new stuff, because relationships are something that I definitely want to dive into in my coaching career. So this is brilliant. 8 hours worth of content, lots of stuff to dive into. The investment for that is $1,222, and there's payment plans for everything, obviously. And my clients have loved this. Like, as you can see, again, this is not fluffy stuff. This is like, holy shit stuff. Oh my God, this session resonated. This session brought back many triggering moments in my past relationships. This is where I was stuffing up. This is why we got divorced. This is why da-da-da-da. So it brings up everything. It is such a good program, and that is $1,222. But of course, I've got a deal. If you want the Self-Care Matters program plus the Let's Talk program, instead of it costing you well over $2,000, I'm doing it for, I don't know how long. If you've attended this masterclass, let's say, I'm allowing you to save $333 by giving you both programs for $1,888. Now, this comes down to values. Again, question your values. Like, do you value holding on to your money, or do you value your relationships and looking after yourself and your life experience? What do you decide to value? So I would invite you to think about your values around, cost and value for sure. But those two programs are absolutely brilliant. But if you decide that you want the full shebang, which is a whole 1 year long container with me, Nikki's doing this, Lisa's doing this, Fiona's doing this. It is, oh, sorry, you probably can't see it. Hang on. There you go. It's a 12-month container, 12 one-on-one coaching sessions. There's weekly card readings, all 3 human design levels, high touch, high accountability. You are going to move through these 7 slaves to life. If you join this program, you will understand fear and how it shows up and how to work through it. You are going to be able to hold uncertainty and deal with challenge, deal with triggers, align your beliefs, emotional intelligence, being able to process your emotions, decipher what you need from them, and ask for it. Who you are, you being, knowing that you're worthy of all of it, and mindset and energy. When you shift your mindset and energy around your experience of life, it changes everything. So this is over $35,000 worth of value. Of course, you're not going to pay that. And it includes all my shorter programs as well. So my Self-Care Matters, Let's Talk, Soul Ignite and Energetic Ask Kikori, everything else that I create in that year, you get access to. So that program is $5,555, payment plans obviously included as well, but brilliant, high touch. If you want to move through life and slay it, that's the program for you. And my clients love it. There's probably a comment or two from you in here, Nikki. But like, these are like some of the messages that I get from my ladies who are in this program every single week. Like, they're like, I would not have been able to handle things the way that I did without me knowing the tools that you've taught me. Having this knowledge, I always come back to it. I've done so much better because of doing this program. Like, it's pretty mind-blowing, the results that I get every single week. I actually don't brag about it as much as what I should because it's so good. It's so good. So, yeah, if any of those interest you, I would love to invite you to jump on a call if you wanted to have a obligation-free chat about any of those. I'm very happy to talk, obviously, because I've been talking for the last hour and a half. But this is my bread and butter. This is my jam. This is my passion in life, is to have women be the best version of themselves possible. I do not want anyone who crosses my path to go to their graves with their song still in them. I want them to be fully expressed, no apology, living their purpose and what it is that they want to do, and just experiencing life in a much higher vibration and manifesting what it is that they want. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm here to do. So I hope that you ladies have enjoyed that. It's exactly an hour and a half. I've done very well. I did say it was an hour and a half, didn't I? Go me. Hate to blow my own horn, but toot. That's great. So please, let's stay together, people. So please follow me on my personal page. That's where I pretty much share everything. I've also got my business page, Operation Abundance HD, and I've got my expansion project Facebook group. So where I do daily card pulls, which I didn't do today, but I usually do one every week, every weekday, and it's a great place to be. So the expansion project. Instagram, Operation Abundance. I've got my own podcast with Millsy now. Has anyone listened to the Mills and Kez podcast? No one? Okay. Oh, you have, Nikki.
Love it.
Oh, Fiona does. Excellent. Good. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just me and Millsy shooting the breeze as we do. But, yeah, talking about stuff that, like, everyday women are dealing with and situations. And, yeah, it's a good bit of fun. So thank you very much, everyone, for spending your Wednesday night with me. Does anyone have any questions before I sign off? Anything that triggered you? Any key takeaways that you had? Which was the bit that like stood out for you the most and which you enjoyed or what you took away?
Can I just say, and I know I'm a very big talker, I apologize, but having been through a number of your programs, can I just say that it doesn't matter how many times that people listen to you or whatever, you always take something new away. And I'm a slow learner, gotta say, but I just, like, even tonight, like there were bits and pieces that I just went, oh, Nikki, you should know that. You've heard Kerry talk about that a million times and you're still not doing it. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate you holding these masterclasses. I think that's amazing. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Nikki. That's lovely. Brilliant. And I hope you never leave me. Excellent. Awesome. So thank you very much, ladies. Excellent, Helen. Oh, thank you, Helen. Yeah, lots to take on board. Yeah, it's as I say, it wasn't going to be a fluffy one. Like I do these more for impact than for fun and information gathering, but it's all about, yeah, really having a think about it, journaling around some of those beliefs that you have around what makes you frazzled, and challenging those beliefs is really important. Deciding what's important to you, like what you might realize in diving into those belief systems is that you have been doing stuff on a value system that was never yours in the first place. Like I valued being a good mum, but I kept my house spotless and left my kids to their own devices. It's like, well, where's my values at? So yeah, challenging everything is what it's all about. So it aligns to who you are, what it is that you're here to do. That is the most important thing, because we all have a song to sing and we're all here for our own purpose. And it's all about aligning to that. So important. Excellent. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I will send out recordings. And yeah, if you would love to have a call with me, please just reach out. I am more than happy to talk you through all of my bits and pieces. They're all impactful and awesome, and I just love all of them. They're all my babies. So I will see you all hopefully soon on the interwebs.
Have a good one. Amazing as always, lady.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.